All right, what's up, everyone? This is a new episode of Sports Harder, coming at you live on the day before the scariest night of the year, Halloween. So we're gonna wish everyone a early happy Halloween, and as always, this new episode of Sports Harder. I am your host, Maddie Lukewarm Ice, and my co-host, acting all silly, is Chris the Gorilla Binder.
What's up? And I'm not acting silly. My shirt says this is my human costume. I'm really a gorilla.
Um, I love it. How many times have you actually gone as a gorilla for Halloween?
Never.
What? You had the nickname Gorilla and you've never gone as a gorilla for Halloween?
Nope, but I got this shirt just because of the nickname. So
Because of the nickname. I like it. I'm rocking the Aaron Donald jersey this time. So got rocking the 99, rocking the Color Rush stuff, all Color Rushed out. And then I got my my Halloween cup here, chilling, drinking out of, so getting in the spirit of things. Do you think that you'll get, for people who don't know, you're in Utah, I'm in Virginia. So is Utah kind of restricting what like people can do for trick or treating tomorrow?
they're not. They haven't come out with anything saying they're restricting it. They're just suggesting to not go trick or treating. They haven't like outright banned it or anything like that. I know my neighborhood, we're still going to have trick or treaters, but we do have some people that are not allowing people to come up to get candy or whatever. But those people, what they're actually doing is just setting out like a couple bowls of candy, and they've got like a sign up that says take one or take two.
That never works. Like I
Oh
tried
no.
one year and then the whole bowl was gone. Someone even took the bowl. They didn't just take the candy, they took the bowl too. And that was when I was living in Utah. That wasn't even when I was living here. Like
Our neighborhood's pretty chill, so we have some pretty honest people in our neighborhood, which is nice.
that's good then. That's good. Virginia, they sent out letters for certain areas, and they basically said in the letter, it's up to your discretion. There's no rules against it, but you are taking it into your own risk, your own hands if you go out. I think we'll get some. Me and Melanie, the felony, got a bowl, and we're doing the same thing, put some candy in it. But we're gonna like actually watch and make sure people take, what they're supposed to take. So we're gonna set it like 6 feet away from our porch. We're just gonna stand on the porch and just make sure that people take what they're supposed to when they come. So
Makes sense.
that's that's our plan. Any Halloween like couple outfit? Like you doing a themed outfit, or you guys doing like different outfits, or
Um, well, tonight we're doing like a little family get together, and my wife and her sisters are doing. They're dressing up as the Sanderson sisters from Hocus Pocus, and I'm gonna have my wife and my daughter do my makeup, and I'm gonna be Billy, the
nice
zombie.
zone and everything?
Yeah, it's gonna be. It's gonna look like it's all stitched up and everything, but I'm not gonna shave, so that's gonna be the bad part. But no, my wife and I were going to do another costume, but we're not actually like dressing up and going anywhere because of COVID. So we decided that we're gonna hold off and do the costume next year. So she's going to. This is dirty. So if you're under 18, I'm sorry. Um, she's gonna dress up as a pumpkin, and I've got a shirt that says Peter Peter.
Oh my goodness, I love it. Oh gosh, that's clever though. That's clever. I like that. Um, Me and Mel are not doing anything as clever, I guess, but it's still like a couple's outfit. We always make our own outfits. So last year we did the Young Bucks. They're wrestlers from AEW. So they're brothers, and so we dressed up as them. This year we're doing Bob's Burgers themed, and so there's an episode in Bob's Burgers where a biker gang comes into town, and the leader of the biker gang is called Critter, and he gets one of the biker girls in the gang pregnant. Her name is Mudflap, And so we're going to wear the biker vests with the logo on the back. The name of the biker gang is the One-Eyed Snakes.
That's awesome.
So I'm going to be Critter, and then she's going to be Mudflap. So that's going to be fun with that. So yeah, we still have to make them. We still don't have them done yet, but we're gonna get that done and do a Bob's Burgers theme. So,
dude, you got till tomorrow.
we have
on that.
We have all the stuff. We just have to iron on the patches on the back of the shirts. So with the One-Eyed Snake logo. So purely a snake with just like one giant eye. It's pretty funny. I'll have to message it to you later so that way you know what it looks like.
Sure.
So yeah, cool. Well, let's start off then with talking with some sports like we're supposed to do on this podcast. And what's going down was Thursday night football between the Carolina Panthers and the Atlanta Falcons. I see you shaking your head already. So both of us had picked the Panthers to win. Obviously, that did not happen. No Christian McCaffrey. They said he's been practicing, but he still wasn't cleared to be able to play in the game. So I think that had a lot to do with it as well. But what's your takeaway from the Falcons getting their second win of the season over the Panthers?
I watched that game. Like, I didn't watch it super in depth, but from what I saw, I was bowling at the time, so they had it up on the TV at the bowling alley. Dude, the Falcons defense finally stepped up. Like, I mean, they were after Bridgewater all night. Dude was running for his life. He actually went out of the game for a little bit. They weren't sure if he was going to come back because he had like an injury, but he ended up coming back. What's funny is I texted you last night, and I was like, dude, I think the Falcons are going to take this game. I think the Panthers are going to lose. And then literally as I sent that text, Matt Ryan threw a pick. I was like, all right. There's the Choke City fourth quarter, but then they got after Bridgewater again. He threw a pick, and that ended the game. Like, they started marching down, and they needed a touchdown and a 2-point conversion to tie the game up. But he just kind of threw a duck, basically, and it just got picked off. So, I mean, they definitely stepped up. It was kind of nice to see the Falcons actually, on paper, as good as they are, show how good they can be, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And like you said, the Falcons got that interception at the end to seal the game, which, I mean, the Panthers were kind of marching down the field to try and, tie it up there. They would have needed a 2-point conversion as well, but they still at least would have had a chance to tie it. So I think everyone, like you were saying, was thinking, okay, Choke City, they're going to give the game away, and it's going to tie up, go into overtime, and then we would see from there, but they ended up sealing the deal with it. It's a lot of people were focusing on Gurley not falling before the end zone in the last game. Everyone kind of focused on that against the Lions, that Gurley had a chance to go down and then run the clock down and then them kick a field goal. But Gurley couldn't stop his momentum, and he fell into the end zone against the Lions. And so then the Lions still had a chance to go down and score. And I felt like the commentators and everyone were just like focusing so hardcore that they were just like, yeah, this is a typical like Falcons way to lose type of thing,
Yeah.
And they even showed, like, in the huddle, Matt Ryan, before that play, he looked at Gurley and he said, do not go into the end zone. Do not score. And Gurley said, yeah, I got you. And then he did it anyway.
He tried to stop. I mean, I'll give him that. He really did try to stop, and the ball just barely crossed the plane. Like, he didn't actually go in the end zone. It just touched the line. And that's what was the score. But that's all it takes is the point of the ball crossing that line.
Yeah, exactly. So with that, I think what we should start off with now, just real quick to cover it because we don't have really any other sports to cover. So the World Series wrapped up since we last spoke. The Los Angeles Dodgers take the World Series against the Tampa Bay Rays. So now it's looking more like LA is the city of champions with the Lakers and now the Dodgers. So the Dodgers finally get over that hump. We can no longer, refer to them as the Buffalo Bills of the Major League Baseball. But
Yeah.
I still feel like it's a missed opportunity for the Dodgers to have a dynasty. They've gone to 3 out of the last 4 World Series, and this was the first one that they were able to win. If they were able to win all 3, that would have put them up there with like Yankees dynasty, or like the Red Sox and stuff like that have had, or the Giants. The Giants there for a while, they won 2 or 3 straight, or won 2 and then lost 1 and then or something. So I mean, I feel like they could have been more up there. So is this going to give the Dodgers the momentum they need next season to keep this going, to take it to more titles, or was it more in their favor because of COVID? Like COVID kind of helped them with the way that everything was scheduled.
So 2 things about that. Justin Turner getting in trouble for going out on the field after they found out he tested positive. They like told him to leave. They're like, go get out of the game, and he still came on the field after they won the game. And he actually like fought the security, and he's like, no, I'm not doing this. I'm not going back. But yeah, so he's getting in trouble for that. But just wanted to throw that out there really quick. But the Dodgers, their problem is Clayton Kershaw. They pay him way too much money. He's an amazing regular season pitcher. But if you watch him, like he's their number 1 ace. And in the finals, like the World Series, he sucked. He got torched every time he pitched. Like the Braves torched him.
He always seems to get torched once the playoffs happen. So like you said, he's a great regular season pitcher.
Yeah. They just, I don't know. They need to stack their pitching a little more. Like their pitching's good, but it's not great. Their bats are what carries them. Like they go down early, and they went down early in nearly every game that they played. But their bats always save them.
Yeah.
Because on any given night, for 15 freaking runs. It's insane how good they are. But their pitching needs to definitely step it up if they want to continue, if they want to go and win. Like they played the Tampa Bay Rays, who we discussed it in the last podcast. Their entire roster made less money than Clayton Kershaw and Mookie Betts.
Yeah.
Like they were supposed to win that series. If they lost that series, that'd be the biggest disappointment of the entire franchise, like in the history of that franchise. Like, oh, we're paying 2 people more than your entire roster and we lose to you? There's a problem.
Yeah, exactly. I think COVID had a lot to do with helping them win this World Series, to be honest. Like I said, they couldn't get in their own heads because there was no traveling, there was no long waiting periods or anything like that. Once they had momentum, they could keep it just because they played so many games in a row. I thought they should have lost to the Braves, to be honest. They were down 3-1. But since they played all the rest of the games one day after another, they got that momentum and they just kept it going. They didn't have to worry about, oh, well, now we have to travel to Atlanta. Now we have to travel back home. Now we have to travel to Atlanta again. They got really lucky in being able to just play all those games in a row just without having to travel and without having to do anything because of COVID. So I really do feel like, yes, they did it. They won, but there is a little asterisk, with that to me. And we'll see going forward. No one knows what the seasons are going to look like for any sport for the following year, because we don't know with COVID. But if it's the same way as this year, they could have another chance of winning again. If it's more back to normal, I think they're going to struggle again. So,
Yeah.
so that's my opinion with that. But congratulations to the Dodgers. They got that locked up and taken care of. So all right, cool. Well, we'll move on to the NFL then and what's been going on with that. I know some trades and stuff like that have been going on. Some of them you pointed out to me. What were some of the ones that you had pointed out to me that's been happening here lately?
Yeah, I don't remember. There's been a lot. The Cowboys traded off Everson Griffin to the Lions, and then they released Dontari Poe and Daryl Worley, so they're both free agents now. You sent over that the Bengals dealt the Carlos Dunlap to the Seahawks, and the Rams get to actually start Kai Forbath as their kicker.
Which is a relief for me as a Rams fan because I feel bad because Sloman was a rookie, it was his first year, but he would kick them so straight and so dead on that he had like 4 or 5 blocked kicks in the season. Like that's like unheard of because he kicked them so low and so direct. So he never could learn to like arch it and get it over the pile. Like he always just kicked them so direct. So I feel bad for him, but if he wants to make an NFL team, maybe in the future, he's got to learn to be able to kick the ball over the pile. Like,
Yeah, he's not. He's used to kicking in college where guys are like 6 foot, 6'1", 6'2", and now you got the NFL linemen who are lining up and they're 6'8", 6'9", and they've got arms like gorillas, and they can reach up and slap that down. Yeah, I don't know if he'll ever make it as a kicker because unless he can learn to put some loft on the ball.
Yeah, exactly. And I felt bad too because I told Melanie the felony a couple times that if we didn't get rid of him as a kicker, he was gonna lose a game for us. Like we were gonna be in a close game, and he would have to make a field goal and he was gonna get it blocked, and we were gonna lose. So I know Sean McVay and then they were ready to make sure that that wasn't gonna happen. So
It almost did a couple times though.
exactly, yeah. And but we got Forbath. He's not the best kicker in the world either, but he's got some experience under his belt, and we'll see if he can do a little bit better, at least than Sloman.
At least you guys didn't sign double doink Cody Parkey.
Yeah, the good old Browns still have him, right?
Yep. He's actually done all right this year, though. He's not. He hasn't doinked anything this year.
He hasn't doinked anything this year. Oh my goodness. All right, cool. Well, I'm gonna try to bring up some stuff on the ESPN app while on my phone while still recording for the podcast. Hopefully, it won't mess anything up. But
one thing, not NFL related, it's actually college football related. Trevor Lawrence is actually out for 10 days. He tested positive for COVID.
I did see that. Yeah, I saw that for Clemson. So, is that going to hurt Clemson with, being ranked number 1? Is that going to hurt him for the Heisman because he was the lead candidate for the Heisman? It put a lot of things up in question.
Initial reaction is that he should be okay because he's only going to miss the Boston College game, and Boston College is 4-2, and like they're expected to blow them out anyway. So they think that Clemson will be okay and he'll be okay. Like his stats aren't going to be affected or anything by missing the one game, and he should be able to be back for the next game. I don't see that happening because 10 days puts him out to a week from Monday, not a week from tomorrow.
Well, they do have where you can do the multiple testing now because the head coach of Alabama, when he got COVID, he was tested 3 times before he was allowed to come back, and he tested negative for 3 straight days, and so then he was able to coach. So, I don't know if the players are allowed to do that or not. But I mean, we'll see. Um, it would be good. I'd love to see him play sooner than later, especially with him being a Heisman candidate. And thank you, love. You're fine. And then, I mean, since we're talking about college football, anyways, with that coming up and that happening, did you see that the new college rankings has Ohio State ranked number 3 after playing 1 game?
Well, we knew that was going to happen. That as soon as they played a game, they'd be thrown in the top 4, just because it's Ohio State. They're perennial playoff team. So
yeah, right now it's Clemson's still number 1, Alabama's number 2, Ohio State's now number 3, Notre Dame is number 4, and then Georgia is dropped down to 5. Now Clemson has to play Notre Dame, and I feel like that could drop Notre Dame out of the top 4 if they lose to Clemson, and then that could help another team get up there and be in the top 4. So that could help like a Michigan or maybe like a Wisconsin jump up to number 4 if Clemson's able to beat Notre Dame when they play each other. So that I think that's next week. If I look at the schedule for it, let's see. Because like you said, they're playing Boston College this week. Yeah, Clemson Notre Dame is the following week. So November the 7th. So yeah, November 7th they'll have number 1 Clemson versus number 4 Notre Dame. I feel like Clemson's still gonna stomp them. I don't feel like there's any team that's even close to beating Clemson. I don't think there's a team that can really do it. So
the only way it happens is if Trevor Lawrence is out longer than 10 days. So that's it. Like if he's out longer than 10 days, then Clemson's season's gone.
So a lot of people have been saying that if Trevor Lawrence is smart, or if he would do what would be the right thing to do, because a lot of people are thinking he's going to go to the Jets, within the draft, that he should play for Clemson another year, or he should pull an Eli Manning and basically like demand a trade. Do you think I mean, you can't tell what a person's going to do, I guess, but do you think that would be a good move to like avoid going to the Jets, and if he are the number 1 pick, or should he just go and try to basically turn the franchise around?
So that's tough because it puts him in a situation where he would be losing. But to me, it's your shot. Like, take that shot. Like, if I had that kind of shot, I wouldn't care what team I was on. I would go in and try to make that team the best that I could. I try to prove that I could help that team become a winner. I know it sucks because it's the Jets and they have terrible management, terrible owners, like not willing to throw money where it needs to be thrown. They're just trading everything away. But he actually came out and said, I'm contemplating playing another year in college instead of going into the draft because he doesn't want to be picked up by the Jets. Eli Manning got away with it a little more because his brother was already established as a good quarterback.
Yeah.
A solid quarterback in the NFL. Yeah, I don't know. I hate seeing that crap, like a kid coming out of college and just saying, well, I don't want to play for this team. Well, too damn bad. Like, That's who drafted you. Shut up and play. Like, earn your paycheck, earn your ability. Like, you've proven something in college. You haven't proven crap in the NFL.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, I mean, you look at Matt Barkley. Matt Barkley was great in college, amazing in college. He was supposed to be like the next heir apparent to like Tom Brady and Peyton Manning, and look at him now. He's a backup to a quarterback from Wyoming. Like, it's I don't know. It frustrates me to no end that they do that crap. Like, just shut up and play.
I mean, I can understand where he's coming from, just because it's like, look at Sam Darnold. I'm not saying Sam Darnold is as good as Trevor Lawrence, but Sam Darnold goes to the Jets, and look what they're doing to his career. A lot of people had high hopes for him, and it's because, like you said, the management is bad. The coaching is bad. Like, everything's bad when it comes to that. And then the mascot trying to put in his 2 cents because he can't calm down.
He hates the Jets too. It's okay.
He what?
He hates the Jets too, so it's okay.
Yeah. Melanie the Thalane's got to give him a treat just to get him to calm down. But yeah, I who's he to throw to? Like, when he gets there, who's his running back? Frank Gore. Like, I just know that going into a situation like that, it's hard to prove that you're good enough to play in the NFL if you don't have the weapons around you. Now,
okay, I just want to throw. Sam Darnold had the weapons around him. The problem was management. 100%. Coaching, management. Adam Gase is not an NFL level coach. Yeah. He should not be a head coach. He destroyed the Dolphins. He walks into the Jets. He's destroying the Jets. Like, they had a true number one receiver in Robbie Anderson.
Yeah.
And he just, he got tired of the crap, tired of the management. They didn't want to pay him, so he left. And he went to Carolina. And now look at him. Like, dude's like number 5 receiver in the nation, or in the NFL. He's like the number 5 receiver in the NFL as far as yards and catches.
Yeah.
And him and Moore. I can never remember his first. Is it DJ Moore that's on the Panthers? Because I know there's a Moore on the Panthers and a Moore on the Seahawks. Yeah, and I always get those two mixed up.
DJ Moore, I think, is on the Seahawks.
Yeah, it's the other Moore. I can't remember his name. But they're together, they're the top duo in the NFL. Even though the team isn't winning games, like, they're not winning as many games as they should be, they're the top receiving duo in the NFL.
Yeah. So, I mean, I definitely agree with that. The only counterpoint I have is, like, if you think about it, put Patrick Mahomes on the Jets and put Sam Darnold on the Chiefs. Now, I'm not saying Sam Darnold would have been able to do some of the things that Mahomes does, because obviously Mahomes has done some things that have proven that, he's a top-tier quarterback. But, he has people that can bail him out if necessary. He has Travis Kelce, one of the best tight ends in the league. He has Tyreek Hill, one of the fastest wide receivers in the league. He has...
Not one of. He is the fastest.
Well, Ruggs is pretty fast, too. So
he's actually faster than Ruggs.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. And, he has, these great running backs combinations, that can feed off of it. So,
and an amazing defense.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where switch those two quarterbacks, Patrick Mahomes' career might be declining and going the way that it's going right now, instead of vice versa. So that's the only thing I want to throw out there when it comes to Trevor Lawrence. Like, that would be going through my head. I wouldn't want that to happen to me.
Yeah, but do you, as a quarterback that praises himself on being amazing or a great quarterback, Do you really want to be the quarterback that comes into an already winning franchise and just sit behind somebody?
Well, I wouldn't say sit behind somebody, but at least going to a team where it's possible. Because I've thrown out there many times, you put Trevor Lawrence on the Atlanta Falcons, they might be doing something. Matt Ryan's getting up there, but he would have Julio Jones, he would have Ridley, he would have Todd Gurley. Like, he would have some weapons around him that he could show some good promise. So he wouldn't be sitting behind anyone necessarily. He would be the starter. But even if you sat behind Matt Ryan, that's not too shabby to sit behind Matt Ryan either and learn from him. But
So I'm glad that you brought that up because Matt Ryan isn't the fault. He isn't the reason that the Falcons have been losing. Like their offense has been good. It really has. It's the same as like the Raiders or the Cowboys before Prescott got hurt. Offense is solid, able to put up points, able to run the field on people. The problem is the defense.
The defense,
yeah, it's the same problem with the Raiders, same problem with the Cowboys, is the same problem with the Falcons. Their defense is garbage, absolute trash.
Yeah.
Like I think those are like the three bottom defenses in the league right now for points scored against.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree that, I mean, the defense is, the main reason and the biggest problem of why, they're having so many issues. But I just think it's funny to, just to think, if something like, if Trevor Lawrence did go to a team like that already had some, weapons around them, how would it look? Or even, say your Cleveland Browns, going with OBJ and Landry and all those weapons. He would have Nick Chubb and Hunt. So just saying, like it would be interesting because some people are kind of doubting Baker Mayfield right now. So it's one of those things. You put Trevor Lawrence on that team. Who knows maybe what would happen, but. Kind of fun water cooler what if conversations, so you can always debate those until your face is blue.
Yeah, so I mean, you could go back and look at when Patrick Mahomes was drafted, right? He was drafted in the first round, but he was a late pick, mid to late pick. Imagine if when the Bears traded up, instead of taking Trubisky, they take Mahomes. Would they really be any better off? I mean, Mahomes is a much better quarterback than Trubisky, but their offense sucks. It doesn't matter who you have behind the center.
I mean, true. I mean, if you look at the double doink situation, that year they had a lot going for them and they had a lot of momentum. You put Patrick Mahomes on there, maybe they won that game by 30 points, and you don't even have to worry about the double doink because they're going to score so many points, So, but ever since that year, they haven't been able to do as well as what they did that year,
Basically, my question with that is Patrick Mahomes really that good, or is it all the weapons around him and the amazing defense that the Chiefs have? Like, honestly, I mean, it's a good debate to have because if you put Mitch Trubisky in that situation in Kansas City, you put Sam Darnold in that situation in Kansas City, and they're going to thrive. They're going to be just as good probably because they have an amazing offensive line. They have a great defense. They have all those weapons. And then you take Pat Mahomes and you put him in another situation like a Sam Darnold or Mitch Trubisky situation. Is he going to thrive the way he does with Kansas City?
Yeah, very true. Maybe we'll have to put that up as like a poll or a question and see maybe what some people think about it on the Facebook page. See if we can get some people commenting about it, see what they think, yay or nay, if you would be able to do that. And that might be something fun to put up on the social media.
Wasn't that the same draft that Baker Mayfield went number 1 too?
I'm pretty sure. No, wait.
Or was Mahomes the year before?
Because I think it was. who went number 1 that year? I think it was Baker, and then it was Trubisky after that, and then Daniel Jones went.
It was Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett went number 1 that year.
The year that Mahomes got drafted?
Yeah, Mahomes went 10th overall. It was the 2017 draft. It went Myles Garrett, Christian McCaffrey was taken 8th. Deshaun Watson was taken 12th. Marlon Humphrey, Tre'Davious White, Jamal Adams, Marshawn Lattimore, Juju Smith-Schuster was taken in that draft. George Kittle. But yeah, it went Myles Garrett, Mitch Trubisky, and then Solomon Thomas, Leonard Fournette, Corey Davis, Jamal Adams, Mike Williams, Christian McCaffrey, John Ross, and then Pat Mahomes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so there's like a few people that honestly he probably could have gone in front of easily. But he was the second quarterback taken behind Mitch Trubisky.
I knew at least Mitch Trubisky just because Bears fans like to remind everyone that they could have gotten him. So
yeah.
So yeah, well, cool. Let's get into our top 5, bottom 5 then in the NFL for this upcoming week with the games that we had just watched and witnessed. I think the bottom 5 are like easier to do, so let's start off with the bottom 5, and I'll start off with you on this one.
And the worst is always number 1, right?
You start off with the 5th worst, and then you go up.
Yeah. That's tough, man. It's really, really tough. But
the bottom 5 was easier.
I'm going to have to go with the Texans, honestly, at number 5. It sucks because I thought they would do a lot better than they did this year. They looked like they would be good. But yeah, they just suck. They're terrible. And the Packers just ran them over. Like, it wasn't even fun to watch. My wife loved it, Jeanette.
Yeah.
Because she's a Packers fan. But, no, it was terrible. So, number 5, Texans. Number 4, probably I'm going to go with the Bengals. They could be better. Joe Burrow just got stuck in a situation that's not great. And I think we lost the podcast, bud.
Oh, it's still showing it on my end.
What's that?
It's still showing on my end.
Yeah, I'm not on it. Let me see if I can join back up. Give me just a second.
Killing me, Smalls.
There we go. I'm back in. Yeah, like kicked me out for some reason. Now I've got an echo.
Do you need me to send it to you?
Yeah, it's like going twice.
Yeah, go ahead and close out of it, and I'll resend it to you.
Oh, hey. So they like closed it out and then reopened it. Like when I went to do it, it pulled up both. So
I'll send you the new one now.
Let me get out of this one.
Yeah, gosh.
That's weird.
It was showing fine on my end, so that was funny that it showed that it kicked you out on your end. Alrighty, there. Normal. So we were doing the top 5, bottom 5 to recap for people on that are listening on the audio part. So you said we're starting off with the bottom 5. You started off. Number 5 was the Texans, and then number 4 you were saying was the Bengals, correct?
Yeah, the Bengals. So Yeah, I think Joe Burrow just got stuck in a situation that's not good for him. We've been talking about quarterbacks getting stuck in a situation that's not good for him. Joe Burrow looked really, really good with LSU, but he just doesn't look great. He looks good with the Bengals. The rest of the team doesn't, and they can't finish games. Number 3, I'm going to put the Jaguars. Yeah, Gardner Minshew definitely wasn't the answer. I think they're going to probably go quarterback in their first pick this year too, just because Minshew doesn't have the magic he had last year. He's got that sophomore slump. Number 2, New York Giants, and the only reason they're not number 1 is because who number 1 is. But honestly, that Danny Dimes run where he just fell over air, that almost solidified them as number 1. Like, it's very prophetic of their season, like, and how it's gone.
Yeah.
So number 1, we're all going to agree. You and I agree. Every NFL analyst agrees. The Jets suck. I think they're just tanking the season at this point. Like, I mean, the last game that they played, they had like 3 fumbles because they couldn't snap the ball correctly. Like, they didn't lose the fumbles, but still, like, they just couldn't even snap the ball correctly. Like, it's not even a new center. It's the same center Sam Darnold's had his whole career. So what the hell?
Well, and they had Joe Flacco in there for a while too, and I thought they were kind of doing that because they wanted to tank the season as well. So, but now Sam Darnold's back in there. So,
yeah, how do you go from being a Super Bowl MVP and having an amazing team and leading an amazing team to being a backup on the worst team in the NFL?
It's
the Flacco story, 30 for 30.
Yeah. That's a doozy of a situation that would not be able to be wrapped up within the little time that we do on this podcast. All right, cool. Well, I like those bottom 5 then. Man, yeah. I'm gonna go with the 5th. I'm gonna go with the Minnesota Vikings. They're 1-5 right now, and they're still just looking so terrible. Kind of like you said, everyone thought Minshew was the answer for the Jaguars. People thought Cousins was going to be the answer for the Vikings. Everyone thought the Vikings were 1 quarterback away from going to the Super Bowl when they lost against the Eagles, in the championship round. So they thought, oh, we're 1 quarterback away, so we'll get Cousins, and it just didn't add up to what they needed. So yeah, I'm going with the Minnesota Vikings at 5. At 4, I'm gonna go with the Texans. Like you were saying, the Packers just smashed them. It wasn't even close. That was a very easy bounce back game for Aaron Rodgers after performing poorly against the Bucks. So that definitely boosted his confidence. Let's see, that was number 4, right? So
yeah.
So number 3, I'm gonna go with the Jaguars. Definitely gonna go with the Jaguars. They, like you said, Minshew and everything. That's just been total garbage fest. Number 2, I'm gonna go with the Bengals, just because the Bengals were up by 21 against the Colts, I think it was, and they blew that lead. And then they were up against the Browns, and they let Baker Mayfield drive down the field and win the game. Right when Joe Burrow had driven down the field just before that to get ahead, and the defense couldn't help Joe Burrow out get a win just by stopping 1 measly drive.
I will say really quick though, I just want to throw this in there. That final pass by Baker Mayfield, that was the best pass that dude has ever thrown in his entire career. Like, I mean, that was like right through the hands of the defender into just the pocket of the receiver. I mean, that was a beautiful pass.
Yeah, just out of bounds too, so that the receiver could get his feet in, but then the defender wouldn't be able to get the ball. So yeah, that was a pretty pass by him, but it shouldn't have gotten to that point, you know.
No,
And of course, the number one worst team, as we all know, is the New York Jets. And we've already. I don't need to repeat anything you said because it's all the same stuff, you know. So I won't go into further detail about poo-pooing on their team any more than what it needs to be because enough people do it more so than what we do, you know. So. Cool. So let's go with the top five now. So let's talk about some good stuff. Talk about the top five in the NFL. This one is going to be interesting. Just because there's only one undefeated team now that is left, and we'll get into that. But do you want to start with top five, or do you want me to start with the top five?
I'm good either way.
You started last. Maybe I'll go first this time.
I can almost guarantee there's going to be at least one spot we don't agree on.
Probably, yeah. Let's see. So number five. I'm gonna go with. I'm going to go with the Green Bay Packers. I think they jumped back into the top five for me. I think I had them out of the bottom five last week. Or top five. I had them just outside, I think.
After that loss to the Bucs, yeah.
Yeah, but they jumped back to me into contention. They looked great against the Texans. We'll see once they play another, decent team, like the Bucs, if they can actually hold up, and then maybe I'll change my mind. But right now they still look pretty unstoppable, and they're first place in the division after the Bears taking a loss. Number four.
Really quick, who'd the Bears lose to?
This is a team called the Rams.
Got to give you your bragging rights there, bud.
I don't get it very often, so I got to take advantage of it when I can. Let's see. So number four, I'm trying to look. Number four, I'm gonna give it to them. I'm gonna say the Arizona Cardinals. Like, they came off a great win against the Seahawks, who were undefeated. They proved that they're not the laughing stock of that division anymore. They're not the bottom of the barrel. And we kind of both called that the Seahawks would finally take a loss because they were squeaking by with a lot of their wins. So I'll give it to the Cardinals, and we'll see if they can keep the momentum going. Number three, I'm gonna go with the Tennessee Titans. Yes, they did take a loss to the Steelers. They did. Yes, I understand. But they were down by, I think it was like 21-3 or something like that, or 21-7. I can't remember. It was bad. They were getting blown out, and they came back and they marched down the field and almost tied the game up at the very end. If their stupid kicker could have made a field goal, it would have been tied and they would have been going into overtime. So I don't blame a loss on a kicker. That's not really the Tennessee Titans losing. That's just their kicker missing a field goal. So I'm going to give number three to Tennessee. Number two, I'm going with the Kansas City Chiefs. They dominated the Broncos like we knew they would. They absolutely steamrolled them. Their defense put up almost more points than their offense did. They were They were doing really well. Mahomes didn't play all that great, but he didn't need to because they were running the ball so efficiently.
Yeah, he didn't even throw for 200 yards.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, if the Chiefs can say that they can run the ball now because they couldn't say that in the past, that's a whole nother new dimension to their game, which makes them very scary. And of course, the number one team I have to give it to is the Steelers because they're undefeated. I got to give them number one. Until they lose a game, I can't really say much. So I got Steelers as the number one team right now. Their defense showed up in the first half of the Tennessee game. They didn't show up in the second half. If they can actually like have that defense continue all the way through the game, they're still going to keep on being pretty scary. So I'm giving it to the Steelers as number one.
All right. So my top five. We actually agree on a few things. For me, number 5 is going to be the Packers.
Okay.
Like the loss to the Bucks hurt them. It kind of made Aaron Rodgers more human this year. But I feel like Rodgers is going to do kind of the same thing that he did a few years back, where he's like, relax. Just relax. I've got this. Especially with now they've got their number 2 receiver coming back, Alan Lazard. They've got Devontae Adams is healthy. Aaron Jones is coming back. There's actually rumors that they're going to be trading for like Kenny Golladay, which would be a good pickup for them. They were supposed to have I can't remember the dude's name, but the dude that opted out, the receiver that opted out, Devin Funchess. So they picked Devin Funchess up in free agency, and then he opted out of the season due to COVID. So he was like, I don't even want to risk it. I'm not going to put my family at risk, so I'm not playing. So they haven't really had that number 2 receiver behind Devontae Adams. Alan Lazard, I think this is his 3rd year, and the previous 2 years he had a total of like 15 catches combined in the 2 years, and now he's thrown into this second receiver role. He's supposed to be the go-to if Adams isn't open. It hasn't really given him that. It hasn't given Rodgers that weapon, and that's kind of where the Packers made some mistakes and stuff in the draft, drafting Jordan Love. But I think Aaron Rodgers is he's gonna fire up. It's going to be different when we see him against an actual good team, because the Texans, they're garbage. And he just ran all over them. Like, it wasn't even fun to watch, like I said earlier. So, Packers at number 5. Number 4 for me is, I think I'm going to go with the Bucks.
Okay.
Number 4. They definitely, they surprised me. Like, the Raiders were in that game up until the 4th quarter. And then all of a sudden a light went off in Brady's ass and he went off. Like, I don't know what happened to trigger that, but yeah, he just torched the Raiders. He torched the Packers. He's come out firing now, and that it's starting to meld. Like, it's starting to meld together really, really well, and they're showing who they really are. Number 3, sorry. I'm going to go with the Titans still. I think they're still a powerhouse. I think Derrick Henry just kind of had an off day. I mean, he still rushed for like 80 yards against the Steelers, but it was all second half garbage time rushing yards. They held him pretty well in the first half. But I think they're still a good team. I think they're still a solid team. They just kind of ran into a brick wall called the Steelers. Number 2, I have to thumbs down this because I agree with you. It's the Chiefs. Dude, if they can get a run game going with everything else they have, they're the scariest damn team in the NFL. Because they won the Super Bowl last year in dominating style on every game that they played without a running game.
Yeah.
Now they have the running game. That's just going to open the field up more for Sammy Watkins, Travis Kelce, Mecole Hardman, Tyreek Hill. Like, it's just not even going to be fair. Like, they're just the Los Angeles Lakers now. Let's just have the most stacked team possible.
Yeah.
And then number one, I agree with you, at least until this weekend. If they beat the Ravens, they're going to stay number one. But the Steelers right now are number one. But they're coming into Baltimore to play the Ravens. That's not going to be an easy game. But it is Lamar Jackson's first ever matchup against Ben Roethlisberger.
Alrighty.
Excuse me. Sorry.
God, don't get all choked up about it.
No, I got a dry spot in my throat all of a sudden. But yeah, there's my top five. If you notice, Seahawks and Ravens aren't in there. Seahawks don't have the defense.
That's
Like we've been.
why they picked up Dunlap. Because they're trying to stack that defense more.
They've had, in the last 5 games, they've had 2 quarterback pressures. 2. That is like ridiculously unheard of. They are not getting to the quarterback. I mean, yeah, one of the quarterbacks is Kyler Murray, and nobody's ever going to catch that kid. That's insane. But I mean, DK Metcalf showed some grit in that game against Arizona, like running Buda Baker down for 95 yards and catching him. That was insane.
Oh my
and
God!
Buda Baker's a 4.33 40. Like, he's fast, and DK Metcalf made him look slow.
He did. He earned a lot of brownie points with his team running him down. Because then the Cardinals went for it on 4th down after that, and they couldn't score. So he saved a touchdown, basically, because score on that defensive play, and then the Cardinals couldn't punch it in on offense. So that, the game maybe wouldn't have been as close if he didn't run him down. So yeah, you're right. He definitely showed a lot of grit with doing that. So awesome. Well, I put Cardinals in my top 5. That was the difference that we had with each other's. I don't know. Maybe it's just riding the wave of emotions with them beating the Seahawks. But we'll see with their other games. If they can handle it and hang. Top 5, bottom 5 usually changes pretty weekly. The bottom 5 not so much, but the top 5 usually changes pretty weekly depending on who they're playing and what's going on. So,
yeah, and I will say, if the Cardinals can stand up to the defense of like the Rams or the 49ers in same division, if they can actually stand up to them and score as many points as they did against a crappy Seahawks defense, then yeah, they deserve to be in the top 5. And I picked them to win the division for a reason. They're a good team, they're a solid team, but they haven't really gotten over that little hump yet. They still allowed 30 points from the Seahawks. Yeah. Granted, it's the Seahawks. They picked off Russell Wilson 3 times. But I don't think they're quite over the hump that they need to get over.
Yeah. Do you think with Russell Wilson having those picks that hurt his MVP now and Aaron Rodgers bumped up? Because it was Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson, but then Aaron Rodgers had a bad game 2 weeks ago. So then it was Russell Wilson, but then now Russell Wilson had a bad game, and Aaron Rodgers had a good game instead. So it's just like, is it still just them two, or?
Nope. If you don't put Tom Brady and Ben Roethlisberger in that talk, then you're not paying attention to football. Like, Tom Brady right now is just torching people. Like, yeah, he struggled the first couple weeks, but the last 3 games, he's averaging 4 touchdown passes and 300 yards a game, like, at 43 years old.
Yeah.
Like, that is insane. That is completely unheard of. When Peyton Manning was 40 and playing for the Broncos, he was throwing ducks. Like, he couldn't get the ball down the field. You'd watch it, and it'd wobble as it was flying. Like, Brady is still throwing a tight spiral. He's got a rocket arm still at 43. And he's torching people. And I mean, he's turned the Tampa Bay Bucks completely around. If he's not in the talks, then there's something wrong. With Ben Roethlisberger, he's winning games. Like he's doing enough to win the games. Like he's not Big Ben of old. He's not the 2-time Super Bowl winning quarterback Big Ben, but he's still really solid and still really good. He's damn accurate. I think he's like his accuracy percentage or his completion percentage is like 68% right now. That's third best in the league. And Brady is like 66%. Both of them are higher than Rodgers and Wilson. So, yeah, Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers are definitely like front runners, but sitting right behind them are Brady and Roethlisberger, I think. And that's crazy to think that two 40-year-olds are in the running for MVP.
Yes. Which is interesting when the past two MVPs have been young bucks and Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Alrighty, well, I think you know what time it is.
Yep.
It is NFL picks of the week. NFL picks of the week. Sunday.
Terrible.
Kids get in for free. Sunday. Come see the grave digger. Come take on zombie, whatever. I don't know. They that crazy monster truck thing,
Yeah.
But we're excited to do our picks. Let's go
back.
Updated score sheet. So right now, I am at 88.5 and 28. You are at 83.5 and 32. So still behind me in those, at least in the win column. We've been doing good with getting our locks and our upsets. We've been doing pretty good at guessing those right and getting those right. And I think that's kind of been saving us with a lot of our picks that we've been doing. The only one that you got wrong was your upset. You picked the Raiders. So but you got your lock correct. So let me know the co-host has all the teams set up, and then I'll go over the first matchup.
Yeah, I knew I forgot something, so I'm doing something a little early and freaking forgot it.
First day, golly,
right?
Mistake.
Oh, it's having a day off kind of throws you off, man. I mean, it's nice. Oh, that's a terrible game. Why is that game even being played?
You're already pointing out a terrible game before we even get to it.
Yeah, that's dumb. I'm getting them all together. I'm sorry. I mean, you can go into like one of the picks and I'll figure it out. I'll find them.
No worries. We can do it like, game by game. You don't have to set them all out already. Well, the first matchup is the 5-2 Rams versus the 3-3 Dolphins.
Of course, that's the one that I'm working on grabbing. There we go.
So, like we mentioned before, the Rams coming off a win over the Bears, which I think was a big win for us because the Bears have always had our number in the past, especially with their defense, and we were able to kind of put it on them pretty well. Dolphins, they were coming off a bye, I'm pretty sure. I don't think they played. And they're planning on starring Tua, which, Tua, welcome to the NFL. Hi, my name's Aaron Donald.
If Aaron Donald can catch him.
Aaron Donald's pretty quick. But I think this is the last, I don't want to say easy game, but it's the last doable game because the games going forward for the Rams are going to be pretty difficult. But I'm going with my Rams. I think the Rams are going to take this one, throwing up that LA right there. I think, we have to keep pace with the best division because our division is the best division in the NFL. So hopefully Aaron Donald's going to be eating some Tua sandwiches.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go with you, and yeah, I'm taking the Rams on this one, and really, really quick and really early, I'm throwing in my lock.
Oh no! Oh, he got it in as a lock. He's locking it
Hey,
in.
I have locked in the Rams. This will be the second time. They didn't do me wrong the first time, and I don't think Tua is ready for the Rams defense, man. That is a trial by fire. That's not even fun to watch.
Yeah. And, Nick Foles usually had our number in the past, but we were able to pick him off a couple times and get some sacks on him. So even if Aaron Donald's not getting the sack, he causes problems just with his presence. He opens up other opportunities for other players. So even though he's not getting the stats, he's still helping other teammates get to, where they need to be for that. The next matchup is the surprisingly 2-4 Patriots versus the 5-2 Bills. Patriots, man, when's the last time that you remember them being in third place in their division?
In the '90s,
In the 90s, yeah, like
pre-Tom Brady era.
freaking the Patriots let me down in their game. Who did they play against? Or did they play or did they have a bye?
Well, they played. And Cam Newton threw 3 picks, and then got benched for Jarrett Stidham.
Oh, the 49ers. That's who they played. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cam Newton got benched, in that game.
And Jimmy Garoppolo was the first quarterback that's been drafted by Bill Belichick that went back and beat him.
Yeah. Hang on 1 second. Love. No. Can you come here? Trying to get Melanie the Felony to actually do something on the podcast. Mascot duty, please. Thank you. Alrighty. So your pick this time, so you get to start.
Cam Newton is pissed and said that he doesn't like losing. He doesn't like the feeling of losing, but that doesn't change that he just is falling apart. Like, he's not playing up to his potential or how good he used to be. He had a couple good games this year with the Patriots, but other than that, he hasn't been crap. I think the Bills bounce back after almost losing last week, and I think they kicked 6 field goals to win the game. They didn't score a single touchdown.
Yep.
I think they get back to their roots and they start tearing it apart. I think the Bills actually take this game.
I like it. Yeah, the Bills kicker he tied a record, Bills franchise record with those 6 kicks. If he would have kicked one more field goal, he would have had the franchise record for the most field goals in a game. So that's pretty nuts that they had to do that against the Jets out of all all teams. But yeah, Cam Newton's falling apart. I think people are always asking who won in the divorce, Tom Brady or the Patriots. Right now, Tom Brady is winning the divorce. Definitely not the Patriots.
Yep.
I'm going with the Bills. I think, like you said, they'll get back to scoring some touchdowns and get things rolling for sure. All right. The next matchup is the 5-1 Titans versus the 5-1 Bengals. As my co-host gets his logos up there. So I get to go first on this one. I'm gonna lock it up. I'm gonna lock it up. Don't say who you don't guess for me. I haven't said who I thought yet.
Well, this would be an upset, not a lock.
You think go all, but yes, I'm going with the Titans as my lock. They looked great against the Steelers. Like I said, they were a field goal away from tying it. The Derrick Henry is going to run all over the Bengals. It's gonna be bad. So yeah, definitely the Titans.
So the Bengals lost Carlos Dunlap, their top quarterback rusher for like the past 5 years. The dude's been a monster. Like, he averages 10 to 12 sacks a year. And they weren't playing him. He played 35% of the snaps this year so far for the Bengals. And in those 35% of the snaps, 80% of the time he had pressure on the quarterback. Why are you not playing him? Well, now the Seahawks actually have somebody. But because of that, still going with the Titans. Well, that's only one of the many reasons. Titans will take this game. And yeah, Derrick Henry's probably going to put up 200 yards on them.
Alrighty, fair enough. Next matchup, the 3-3 Raiders versus the 5-2 Browns. I think you get to start with this one. And it's your team.
It's my team. Browns lost Odell Beckham, so he's out for the season. That was definitely a big hit. But even after that, Baker Mayfield came in and just he played his butt off, against a crappy Bengals team that they almost lost to. How do you almost lose to the Bengals? I don't know. Either way, I'm going with my team. Have to. I think the Raiders take this game. I think it's going to be a close game because both their defenses suck. But I think it's going to be a really close game. Like, I'm talking like a 35-32 game.
Oh, wow. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
But I think the Raiders take this game.
All right. I like it. You got to say it like Chris Berman or whatever. The Raiders.
Raiders.
You got to do a deep, gargly voice. The Raiders. I'm going with the Raiders, too. I've never been a fan of the Browns. I've always kind of said that they're pretenders. So, like you said, barely squeaking by the Bengals. You shouldn't barely be squeaking by the Bengals. The Raiders have shown promise. They've actually been playing some decent teams, so it's understandable that they have the losses that they have. So, yeah, going with the Raiders on this one. And I actually picked up Aguilar. I can't remember if it's in our league or my other league. So I plan on starting him and him having a big game against the Browns. So
I just have to ask, though. Aguilar playing amazing ball with the Raiders. Does that show that Derek Carr's a better quarterback than Carson Wentz?
Your logic of like how that works is just mind-boggling. Just like, does that mean that the Rams, whoever it was, I can't even remember who you said. Tampa, yeah.
Because the Bears beat Tampa and the Rams beat the Bears. That by the transitive property, that means that the Rams are better than Tampa. So by all means, the Rams, when they play Tampa, should beat them.
That would be great. Yeah, that would be.
One nice thing to point out about this game: this will be the worst rated defense that the Raiders have faced all year.
Oh, okay. See, there you go. Alrighty. Next matchup is the 4-2 Colts versus the 3-3 Lions.
And you pick this time, buddy.
Oh boy. Let's see. Let's take a look at some of the other matchups. Actually, okay, I can go down that route then. I might have to come back to this one, but we'll see how upset picks go. But man, the Colts 4-2, the 3-3 Lions. Lions came off the win against the Falcons. I'm still going with the Colts. I think the Colts are gonna keep rolling. Their defense is still up there in the upper echelon of defenses in the NFL. I still think the Lions, their wins have kind of come against crappy teams. So
the Colts, though. Their wins have come against crappy teams, and they have Phillip Rivers. Like, he's not that good. Now, is that your pick?
yeah, I picked the Colts. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going against you with my upset. Bam! I think the Lions actually take this game.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
When you put it that close to the camera, it looks like Gingy from freaking Shrek, dude.
You can't catch me. I'm the upset pick man.
Yep, Lions are going to upset the Colts. I think the Lions are getting on a roll finally. They're finally starting to mesh well together. You know, they just added Everson Griffin, so they added another piece to the pass rush. I think they're going to be money.
All right. Well, I like it. Hey, you got to catch up to me, so you got to start picking against me sometimes, so I like it. The next matchup is the 1-5 Vikings versus the 5-1 Packers. So you get to start off with this one.
I'm not even gonna justify this, but Packers. Done.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much I'm going Packers as well. I mean, I had the Vikings in my bottom 5 for a reason, and the Packers
bottom
are
in top 5.
Exactly. Bottom 5, top 5, so pretty easy, pretty self-explanatory. Next one is the 0-7 Jets versus the 6-1 Chiefs.
This was the game that I was talking about. I'm like, why is this even a game? They just need to give the Chiefs a bye week on this week.
Just put in the backups. Let the backups get some playing time.
Right? It's your pick, by the way.
It is my pick. Maybe I should throw up the. No, not in a million years. I'm going with the. No, just no. Yeah. I don't even have to justify this one like the Packers game. There's no justification for it. It's just Chiefs.
I think the Jets are going to fly over and just not even land for the game. The Chiefs are going to take that game.
Yeah, it's if you have any Chiefs players in your fantasy football, now's the time to start them.
Yep.
All right, so this one should actually be a really good matchup. It's the 6-0 Steelers versus the 5-1 Ravens. So you get to start off with this one.
I think this game is going to be probably one of the biggest games for both teams because this is going to decide, honestly, the division, I think. Yeah. I picked the Browns at the beginning of the year for this division, and that was a stupid mistake because it's going to be one of these teams. And I'm saying the Steelers are going to end up 7-0 after this week.
Wow. Okay. I like it. Someone is going to come into the fray here. Oh, he has a little bit of an angry face because he's upset. He's upset that the Steelers are going to lose to the Ravens. The Ravens are going to show that they, like I called at the beginning of the season, will win the division. I called it at the beginning of the year. I did. Don't shake your head. No, I did.
No, you did pick them, but they ain't beating the Steelers.
So yeah, the Ravens are gonna show up and show out, and the Steelers are gonna have a hard time, I think, against the Ravens defense. But we'll see. I like that we picked against each other. It helps give me a bigger lead, and that's
helps me catch up to you. You're picking wrong there, buddy.
Next matchup is the 2-4 Chargers versus the 2-4 Broncos. So,
is this a Thursday night game?
What's up?
Is this a Thursday night game?
No.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. That's just how bad Thursday night games have been.
So yeah, I get to start off with this one. Man, I'm gonna go with the Chargers. I think Herbert will keep doing what he's doing, and he'll be able to throw on the Broncos defense. Broncos unfortunately, one of the lower echelon teams, so going with the Chargers.
They're both lower echelon teams, but the Broncos lost Cortland Sutton as well, so they lost their number one receiver. The Chargers are starting to look up, and I mean Justin Herbert. I don't like that he's in my division because he's a lot better than I thought he was going to be. So yeah, I'm going with the Chargers on this one because I'm sticking with. I'll never pick the Broncos. Chargers.
Alrighty, next matchup is the 4-2 Saints versus the 5-2 Bears. So Bears coming off a tough loss against the Rams. I think the Saints beat the Panthers, right? Yeah, they came back and they beat the Panthers barely.
And both of these teams have beat the Bucks. This is the two Bucks losses.
Oh yeah, that is true. I think you get to start off with this one.
This one's hard, man, because the Bears are better than I thought they would be, and the Saints are worse than I thought they would be. But I don't think the Bears have the offense that the Panthers did against the Saints defense, and Cam Jordan is pissed off. He's like snapping the whip on the defense. Their defense is starting to step up. From coming back to those losses that they took, it kind of slapped them in the face a little bit and showed them, okay, you guys need to come back down to earth. And they're doing it without Michael Thomas because he's still not back. And now they're in talks with trading Michael Thomas.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
They've discussed trading him because of his character is detrimental to the team.
Wow.
Basically, he's being Antonio Brown.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're like, no, we're done. Like, we're not going to have that shape up or you're gone. But even without Michael Thomas, they've still done fairly well this year.
Yeah.
That's why I'm going to go with the Saints over the Bears.
I like it. I called.
You're going to pick them too.
I said the Bears. I said the Bears. Were pretenders with their record for a while now. I think they scraped by and got lucky with Nick Foles in some of those games. Even the Tampa Bay game, they got lucky. So going with the Saints on this one. Drew Brees and Kamara is still a deadly duo. So, Kamara is still one of the best backs in the league, in my opinion. All around backs, like rushing and receiving. So, if McCaffrey was healthy, it'd be between them two on who would be the top, best running back right now.
Yeah.
So the matchup game, the 4-3 49ers versus the 5-1 Seahawks. So I get to go first on this one. The 49ers bounced back a lot better than what I thought they would. They've won 2 games in a row now. I thought they were going to fall off a cliff and die, to be honest. Seahawks realize that they need more on defense. They go out and get Dunlap, which is scary for me being a Rams fan and having to play against them, later in the season. But I'm going to go with the Seahawks still, solely for the fact that I think Russell Wilson is a better quarterback than Jimmy Garoppolo. So if they can stop the run, then if the Seahawks can stop the run, then it limits what they're able to do on offense for the 49ers. So, yeah, going with the Seahawks.
I'll agree with you that Russell Wilson is a better quarterback than Garoppolo. That's not really much of a comparison. That's like comparing Matt Barkley to Tom Brady. Like, just doesn't happen. But I think I'm going to go against you on this one.
Oh,
I think the 49ers are riding high right now. George Kittle's tearing it up. And the Niners defense they're just garbage. Like, yeah, they added a defensive lineman. But what's killing them isn't necessarily the run. They're not able to stop the pass either. And who's going to tackle George Kittle? It's going to take 3 or 4 people with the way the Seahawks play. So, yeah, I'm going with the 49ers on this one.
Okay. All right. I like it. I like when it's different more often. All right, and then the Sunday night football game, and as we all know, Sunday night football is the exciting games, the scintillating matchups. So the 2-5 Cowboys versus the 2-4-1 Eagles. Sunday night football battle
pick first
in NFL.
This is to lead the division.
Yep. Unfortunately, that is true. You are correct. So, yeah, you get to go first because I picked the Seahawks first last time.
The Cowboys don't have a quarterback. Andy Dalton's out. So I don't even know who their starting quarterback's going to be. It's like a third-string quarterback. And then they brought in somebody into their practice squad, Cooper Rush.
I don't even know.
Yeah. No, that they brought Cooper Rush into their practice squad. So I don't know who's going to start the game. Ezekiel Elliott's looking overpaid. Like, he hasn't done crap this year. He looked good when Prescott was in there because Prescott was good. I actually am giving Prescott more credit now that he's injured watching this team because he actually did a lot for that team. And he passed to give room for the run game, where most teams run to give room for the passing game. He's the reason Ezekiel Elliott was as good as he was. They need to give him a damn contract. Carson Wentz is starting to look good again, finally. It's only a matter of time before he gets injured. It happens every year. Because I don't know who the Cowboys starting quarterback is, I'm going with the Eagles on this one.
Alrighty. I agree with you. I'm going with the Eagles because I can't trust the Cowboys ever again after the whooping that they got by the Washington football team. That's the worst I think that they've ever lost to the Washington football team. Which, I mean, that sentence doesn't even sound like it's true, but they got whooped by them. I want to pose a question to you about Zeke, though, because you were talking about Zach, but Zeke has looked awful, just garbage awful. Now, the whole offensive line is injured. I think they have all backups on the offensive line. Now, does that show that Zeke looked so good before because they had all pro offensive linemen? Like, is he showing his true colors that he needed a good offensive lineman to succeed in the NFL?
I think it's a combination of the offensive line as well as, like I said, teams backed up because they were afraid of Dak Prescott throwing the long ball. They're afraid of how well Dak Prescott could throw the ball. I mean, the dude had 2,000 passing yards before he got injured. He was on pace to throw for almost 6,500 yards this year.
Yeah.
Like, that would have blown the record out of the water because I think the record's like 5,500. It's 1,000 yards more that he was on pace for before he got injured. I think it's a combination of how good that offensive line has always been and teams fearing Dak Prescott. That it just opened up a lot of holes for Zeke. I never thought Zeke was really that good. Like, there's so many running backs that are so much better than him. But he always got the credit, which I didn't really agree with. But I'm not an owner. I'm not a coach. I'm just a guy doing fanboy shit on a podcast, Sorry, language. But No, like my mom's a huge Cowboys fan, and I told her the minute they drafted him, I was like, that's a mistake. He's not as good as they think he is. Like, he's just not.
Alrighty, fair enough. Well, I think I kind of agree that he's showing his true colors of he doesn't have the confidence unless he has the people around him. Because he looks like he's lacking in so much confidence right now. Like he just looks defeated already before even taking the field, you know. So and he's fumbled like 4 times in the last 2 games. So he's had at least 2 fumbles in 2 games. Like
That's more
that.
than he had all year last year.
Yeah, yeah. And so I just feel like he doesn't have that confidence. He's not, and he's showing his true colors. And so them paying him so much, I think teams are seeing that paying running backs can kind of bite them in the butt sometimes. So the Rams saw it with Todd Gurley. I think the Cowboys are seeing it now with Zeke.
The Jags saw it with Fournette.
Yeah, exactly. So I think teams are starting to realize that again. Now, sometimes it pays off. Like Alvin Kamara got paid, but he's still doing amazing. But that's because he's so good at catching the ball, and Zeke is not known for catching the ball. So
yeah, and I just have to throw it out there. Have you seen Zeke's new tattoo that he got this year?
No, I don't think so. Didn't it say "feed me" or something?
Yeah, he's got it tattooed across his stomach. It says "Feed me." I'm like, he showed it in one of the games. He ran for a touchdown and he like lifted his shirt, and I was like, that is the dumbest tattoo I've ever seen.
Yes, I did see that though, and it'll be interesting when he loses that body and he gets a big belly and it just says "feed me."
Yes.
But yeah, so the last game is not the last game, but the last 2 games is Monday night game and Thursday night game. So the Monday night game is the 5-2 Bucks versus the 1-6 Giants. I think it's my turn to start on this one. Yeah, it's easy going with the Bucks. Like no doubt about it. The Bucks defense has been stepping up every week, so the Giants don't stand a chance.
No. Like, it's not even going to be a game. It's going to be a blowout again. Brady's probably going to throw 4 more touchdowns. Yeah, it's going to be horrible. But yeah, Bucks. I didn't even I picked up the Giants one just to turn it upside down and drop it.
Well, the Thursday night game is finally a good one. At least it should be. So as of right now, before the records change, because they'll change once they play on Sunday. But as of right now, the 5-1 Packers versus the 4-3 49ers. So this could say a lot about Aaron Rodgers playing against, a more decent team than what he's played against so far. So you get to start off with the Thursday pick.
So Rodgers struggled against the defense of the Bucks. The 49ers defense, they've had so many injuries that their defense is not on the level of the Bucks right now. If everybody was healthy on that team, it's a different story. But when they've lost Solomon Thomas, Nick Bosa, Richard Sherman, had they lost one of their freaking linebackers too? Like they've lost a good percentage of their starters for their defense. So their defense isn't on the same level as the Bucks. So for that reason, I have to go with the Packers.
Alrighty, I like it. I'm gonna go with the Packers as well on this one. I don't like picking the 49ers very often. It's kind of like you said with the Broncos. I don't like them very often being in the same division as me. But yeah, so going with the Packers, hopefully they'll kind of put a whooping on them like they have been with all the other teams, and that'll put the Packers at 7-1, and they'll be rolling at that point if they win their Sunday game and the Thursday night game. Um, so yeah, cool. Well, that is our picks of the week. We got them all set up. I like that we have some differences in ones. I don't think it'll help you catch up at all. It's just going to put you farther behind. But that was your decision, not mine. To fall farther behind me.
Nope, I'm gonna catch you.
So yeah, unfortunately right now it's kind of a lull in sports, just because the World Series is wrapped up. There's basketball had wrapped up. Football kind of is the only thing going on right now. Hockey's not going on, so we gotta wait to see how they're gonna even do the other sports going forward. You can, as always, catch us on Facebook for Sports Harder Podcast. You can listen to us on Anchor. You can listen to us on Apple Podcast. You can listen to us on Spotify. Watch us on YouTube. Subscribe to us so you know when you're getting the new videos posted each time. We'll always have the YouTube videos posted on our social media, so you can find it on there. Check us out on Instagram at sports_harder_podcast. Check us out at Twitter at sportsharderp, capital S, capital P. Post a couple things to try to get more people commenting on what's going on here lately. Question on the Facebook page with the, if the roles were reversed, would Sam Darnold still thrive with the Chiefs as much as Patrick Mahomes did? And then would Patrick Mahomes be able to succeed if he was on the Jets, if it was a role reversal? And then I was thinking it would be a lot of fun. I think we're going to post, we want to hear your guys' top 5, bottom 5, because we don't really, get to hear other people's opinions. So I think it'd be fun. We'll post a top 5, bottom 5 for you guys to let us know. Maybe you agree with us, maybe you don't. That's what's fun about it. You can throw in some teams that maybe we didn't mention that you want to mention. Maybe throw your team in the mix if you feel your team deserves to be in the top 5. I know when the Rams went to the Super Bowl that year, it was a lot of fun to mention my Rams in the top 5 almost every week. So that was nice.
I'd like to mention the Raiders.
I know Jen probably won't disagree too much with our picks because we have the Packers up there, but maybe she'll put them number 1. Who knows?
She always does.
So we'll post that as well. Hopefully everyone has a safe Halloween. If you go trick-or-treating, stay at a good distance. Wear your regular mask and your Halloween mask. Do what you need to stay safe out there. I don't think too much else going on. Anything you want to throw in there? I know there's one thing you want to throw in there before we get done.
Yeah, of course. Earl Thomas still not signed. Have to. Why is this guy not signed? Yeah, I don't get it.
I feel like with all the trades that have been going on right now that he should have been signed by mail. I mean,
right?
Oh, Antonio Brown has been signed. I mean, come on. I thought for sure Earl Thomas would get signed before Antonio Brown. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's crazy.
All right, well, cool. So until next week, guys, we will catch you guys on the flip side until another episode of Sports Harder comes your way next Friday.
All right, later.
Peace. Deuces.